Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining me. It's Mrs. Woolley. This is our 5th week in our Dex.toy activities. And this week you will be looking at linear, quadratic, and exponential functions. You will be comparing and contrasting these models through various activities. This assignment is a little bit different than the last assignments in that there are 3 separate Google slides that correspond to each of the 3 functions you've been exploring. And there is no edulastic activity at the very end. So what I'm going to do is go through the actual Dex.toys activities so that you are comfortable when you are trying these on your own. So to enter, you're going to start here, and your very first activity is going to be a linear Google Slides. And this is a hyperdoc activity. So what I'm going to ask you to do is to make your own copy of the Google Slides, go through and complete the activities. Now, the first few activities just focus on vocabulary and the 3 different forms of linear functions, and they are drop and drag activities. Then you're going to watch a video on slope-intercept form, complete that quiz slope-intercept form, and then practice graphing right on this hyperdoc. Then you will review point-slope form, and remember, point-slope form is a really useful form that's used in all your higher level math classes. You will practice graphing a couple of lines in point-slope form, and then you are done with this Google slide. So before you share it with me, you're going to need to go through and change your sharing settings so that anyone with a link can comment. Once you are done with this activity, you're going to go on to a linear match. Oh, I did something wrong here. So right here, I forgot to complete this. So you want to make sure that you add your link right here in the response box before you go on. So once you submit that, you're ready to try your next activity. And you'll be looking at a linear match, which reviews some of the key concepts of linear functions. So you'll drop and drag the corresponding answers to each of these prompts. Once you complete this activity, you're ready to move on, and you're going to look at quadratic lines, and this is another activity that you will be dropping and dragging, completing drawing lines. So what is the x always raised to in a quadratic function? Remember, quadratic means degree 2. That will unlock this, and then you'll continue on with the matching activity. And once you are done with this, you will go on to your second Google Slides, and this Google Slides focuses on quadratic functions. So when you go in, the first slide is going to prompt you to make your own copy, and then you will remember to please change the settings just like you did in the linear Google Slides activities. And similar to the linear Google Slides, this is going to review the important characteristics and key vocabulary for quadratic functions. And then when you're done, you're going to actually practice graphing using an equation and a table. And once you're completed that activity, there is a great real life situation of a rocket, and you'll be identifying the key characteristics by dropping and dragging. And then you'll interpret a linear model, a graph of it, using this graph and answering the questions. And when you are done, just another reminder to share this with me. And before you do, please change your sharing settings before you submit it. Once you are done with that, before you can move on, you will need to submit your copy and paste your Google Slides right in here. And then it will unlock this activity for you to be able to move on. And once you are done, you'll be going on to an Angry Birds activity in Desmos. Now, Desmos will be the graphing calculator that you will be using through all your high school courses. It's a free graphing calculator option on the internet. You've used it a little bit in Algebra 1. And it is also available to you when you take the MCAS. So, for example, when you take the 10th grade MCAS, you will be using Desmos for the calculator part of that assessment. So this Angry Birds on Desmos starts out with a really quick video that you will be completing. And then you will be going into the slides and the actual activity. So we'll complete this, and it models a quadratic function. So after you watch the video, you will go on to the Desmos activity. Remember to put in your answer to the Angry Birds video, or it won't unlock it to have you go into Desmos. So you're going to complete this activity, and there's no need to submit it because I can see all the data right on the teacher version of Desmos. And you're going to go through and work on these slides, and when you're all done, this will bring you back to the dex.toys assignment. And so I'm going to just quickly kind of go through this for you to preview it so you can see the various slides. And once you are done, you're going to need to let us know how the activity went before you can move on. And then you can write it there and submit it, and then this will unlock it so that you can move on to the next activity. And I submitted my drawing. And now I'm looking at lines and parabolas. So again, to unlock this activity, you need to know the important vocabulary. And if it's concave down, then you're looking at a maximum. And this unlocks the activity. And then you will go through and complete this assignment to move on to the next prompt in the dex.toys activities. And I'm going to just pause this for a second and complete the student activity. All right, and once you complete this activity, you are all ready to move on to the next activity. And this is the exponential Google Slides. So this is your third Google Slides that you will be going through. And this one focuses on exponential functions. So again, you're going to open it up in a new tab. The hyperdoc you're going to need to make your own copy of the hyperdoc. You're going to complete the activities and then change the sharing setting before you submit this. So this is a great real-life example of an exponential function, and it's based on the story of Alice in Wonderland. So you're going to go through and look at these various activities after you watch a quick video. And there are some hints for you on the first Google slide. I have completed your first two ordered pairs for you to help you to get started. And remember that every time she drinks this, she is going to decrease in size and be half as large. And then once you have your ordered pairs, you're going to graph this. Again, I've started the first two ordered pairs for you. And then you're going to analyze the situation, answering some questions, and then just another reminder that prompts you to change your setting before you actually share this. And then you'll submit this link on your deck.toys, which opens up the next activity. So you would need to come down here and share your link. And then you are ready to move on. Now you're going to go through an exponential match. And this really combines the three different key functions you've been looking at and the important vocabulary and characteristics on this. So you're going to match these prompts and then move on to the next activity. Again, I'm going to stop the video and quickly go through this so we can move on in the video. All right, and then once you complete this activity, you are ready to go on to a Desmos activity, and the Desmos activity is based on SpongeBob. So the first thing you need to do is take a look at this. Patrick's paid for the first hours and decide what type of function this models. And obviously there's a constant rate of change here, so we know that indeed it is linear. All right, and then you're going to go through and complete the second question. And this one, we can see there isn't a constant rate of change. And we can see that this is doubling, so it's a multiplicative relationship. And so we know that it is exponential. And finally, you're going to go on to a activity in which you need to focus on the key characteristics and vocabulary of the three different functions that you've been looking at, and that we know the growth factor in this case is 3. All right, now that I've unlocked the activity, I can go through and complete this line activity and submit it to move on to my quizzes game. All right, once you're done with this activity, you will go on to a quizzes where you'll be classifying different quadratic functions. You'll open this up in a separate window. You'll complete the quizzes activity, and then you will need to make a decision on where you're going to move on the think board. So what on the decks.toys, what I'm going to do is quickly stop the video, and I had already played the game, so I'm going to move on in a second in the video. All right, so remember, you need to complete the poll here before you can move on, and I did pretty well. And so now I'm ready to move on. I've finished this activity, and I need to make a choice. So from here, you are going to either choose an Edpuzzle summary and Delta math activity, or Desmos with pictures and a flip grid, and you have 5 minutes to make your own video. So, and then you will have completed this decks.toys. So there's a couple of things that are really important in here. The 3 Google slides are really important. And then the other thing are the 2 Desmos activities. The first one is Angry Birds, and the second is SpongeBob. And Desmos, again, will be the graphing calculator that you will be using at the high school. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you can join me on Thursday. And please reach out to me if you have any questions about this activity or any of the concepts related to the activity. All right. Thank you so much. Have a great day.